Welcome to how to create a bold floral text effect in Photoshop, where we'll learn the basic tools and workflows you'll need to create this beautiful statement title. So let's start by going over what assets we need to complete the tutorial. You'll find links to all the assets you need to follow along in the description below. First, we need an image with a bunch of roses, a few isolated roses, and the French font. Now that we have everything ready, let's get started in Photoshop. Create a new document which is 1150 by 850 pixels. Go down to the Create New Fill or Adjustment Layer button. Click on it and select Gradient. And over here, we want to create a gradient with two colors. So the first color is going to be pure white, and then the second color here is going to be D3, 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 which is a light gray. And then we want to make sure that the opacity is set to 100 on both sides, like so. Now, once you've done that, we want to change the style to radial. And then we want to set the scale here to 255. Click OK. And now from there, we want to create a new text layer. So click on the text tool here. And let's go ahead and type in the text that we want. Like so. And we're just going to change the color so you can see what we're typing. And you can see here we're using the French font. So first I'm just going to make a few adjustments to the text by selecting the smaller characters here, going into our character panel and changing the tracking here back to 0 to bring the space between the letters a little bit closer together. And then just selecting our large letter here, I'm just going to make this size to 320 and the size of the small letters to 380, like so. And once you've done that, let's go ahead and drag the text so that it snaps to the center of our composition. Next, let's go ahead and import our bunch of flowers by clicking and dragging it into our document, like so. I'm just going to go ahead and enlarge this photo here and lower the opacity down so that we can see how this covers our text. And we want to make sure that the majority of the flowers are covering our text. So we've got some form of flower patterns inside each of our letters. So I'm just going to go ahead and decrease the size here, like so. So our L has some flower patterns. Our O, V, and E also has some flower patterns. Just making it smaller slightly, just a little bit. And then once you're happy with the way that it looks, go ahead and commit to that transform. Bring the opacity back up. And then we're going to right click on this layer here. And then we're going to choose Convert to Smart Object. And then we're going to right click on it again. And then we're going to choose Create Clipping Mask. And if you want to make any further adjustments to the image here so that it covers more of our text, you can do so. So we can still move the layer like so, or even enlarge it or make it smaller. And then once you've done that, let's go ahead and make some adjustments to this layer. So select it, go to Image, Adjustments, Curves, and we're just going to make some slight adjustments to the curves here, making it have a little bit more contrast. Then we're going to go to the green channel here, just lowering the green slightly. Go to the red channel here, and then just increasing the red slightly, like so. And then going to the blue channel, and then doing the same here. Then you can make any further adjustments to these as we go along. So once you're happy with that, go ahead and click OK. Next, let's go to Image, Adjustments, and Levels. And then we're going to change the levels here to 5, 1, and 240. Next, go to Filter, Noise, and choose Reduce Noise. And then we're going to choose a strength of 7, preserve details 55%, reduce color noise 45%, and sharpen details 15. Click OK. And then from there, we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. And we're going to choose a hue of -5, saturation of -10, and a lightness of 0. And then from there, let's go to Filter. And then we want to choose Camera Raw Filter. And then once that loads up, under the Basic tab here, we want to open that up, and we want to choose a clarity of 50, like so. Click OK to apply that. Now let's go ahead and import our isolated roses, again just by clicking and dragging them into our document, like so. And then once you've imported all of them in, let's go ahead and select all three, right click, and rasterize layers. And then all we're going to do from here is we're going to use the quick selection tool, and we're just going to quickly click and drag across the shape of our rose. And then we're going to press Ctrl X to cut it, and then Ctrl V to paste it, so that we've got a nice isolated rose that we can go ahead and place anywhere on our project. And then we can delete the old layer. So let's do the same with the other roses here. So let's use the quick selection tool, click and drag across the shape of our rose like so, press Ctrl X to cut it, and Ctrl V to paste it. Delete the original layer like so. And then let's do the final layer here, the final rose, clicking and dragging across the shape, making sure that we get the inside of our rose as well. Press Ctrl X on our keyboard, delete that layer, and then press Ctrl V to paste it. Cool. And then from there, we can even go ahead and press Ctrl T to resize it and place it where we want on our composition. And let's do the same with the other rows. Just Ctrl T and resizing it like so, and placing it where we want in our composition. Now we want to copy the smart filters onto our roses. So to do this, we need to make our roses and convert them into a smart object. So right click on the layers and convert to smart object. Same with this one as well. Let's go ahead and place this where we want it, somewhere like that. And I'm just going to duplicate this rose here and place it over on the side here like that. And once we've done that, to copy the smart filter, all you need to do is press and hold the Alt key if you're on PC, or the Option key if you're on the Mac, and then click and drag the smart filter onto your layers like so. And you'll see that it will match exactly the same color as what we did for our bunch of roses. Now, if the color's slightly different, we can make some adjustments to them. So let's go ahead and do that here. So we're just going to bring our smart filters down here, and we're just going to make some slight adjustments here to make our rows a little bit lighter. So just making it a little bit lighter. Just going through all of our filters like so. And just maybe one more time up here. Cool. And then you can continue to do that until you're happy with the way that your roses look. Next, let's go ahead and rename these layers. So I'm just going to rename them Rose 01 and just number them. So that's Rose 01, Rose 02, Rose 3, and the last one is Rose 04. Now for these two roses here, I'm just going to go ahead and add a drop shadow to them. So right click, go to blending options, select the drop shadow option here, and the settings we've got here is an opacity of 30, blend mode set to multiply, an angle of 135 with a distance of 2, a size of 8. Click OK. And then we're going to do the same for this rose here, which is a small rose underneath the L. Go to blending options, select drop shadow with the same settings. And then finally, let's go ahead and create a depth of field effect for these last two roses. So for this rose over here, we're going to select it, go to filter, go to blur, go to Gaussian blur, and set a radius of 3. And then we're going to do the same with this rose at the top here. Select it, filter, and then you can just select Gaussian blur at the top here, which is basically a repeat of your last or your previous action. Now for some final adjustments and finishing touches, we're going to go down back to the create new fill or adjustment layer button here. Click on that, and then we want to select the vibrance option here. Make sure this layer is placed at the very top of our layers, and then we're going to increase the vibrance by 5 and decrease the saturation by -5. Go back down to the button once again, click on that, and we're going to choose photo filter, and under photo filter here we're going to select the color red and change the density down to 15%. So there you have it, how to create a bold floral Photoshop text effect. Now that you're familiar with the techniques, why not experiment and use some other flowers and different fonts? And feel free to experiment with all these adjustments and filter settings to get the right look for your project. If you liked this video and would like to see more, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of any new and inspiring videos. Have fun, and I'll see you next time.